Public awareness message on property tax. Property tax. 2% increase cannot continue indefinitely after reaching capital value tax. Property tax in Andhra Pradesh was shifted from the annual rental value ARV system to the capital value CV system with effect from 2021 to 22. Rule 9 of the Levy and Assessment of Property Tax Rules 2020 provides a transitional mechanism for moving from the old system to the new capital value system. Under Rule 9.1 and Rule 9.2, certain limitations and increases are prescribed during the transitional period, including the nominal 2% increase applicable in the relevant circumstances under Rule 9.2b. But the transition cannot continue forever. Rule 9.3 specifically provides that once the tax so fixed is reached to the tax as per capital value, the earlier limitations need not be applied and the tax is thereafter to be calculated on the capital values of that year at the percentage fixed by the council or a corporation. What does this mean for property owners? Once the transitional tax has reached the tax calculated under the capital value system, the transitional mechanism comes to an end. Thereafter, Gvmc should calculate the property tax on the capital value applicable to that year. It should not simply take the previous year's transitional tax and continue, adding 2% year after year. In other words, capital value tax reached, transition ends, Rule 9.3 applies, fresh calculation on that year's capital value. The previous year's transitional tax should not become a permanent base for continuing 2% increases. Why is this important? If the 2% increase is continuously added to the previous year's tax, even after the tax has reached the capital value tax, the tax can progressively move above the tax actually calculated on the capital value. This can result in property owners paying tax in excess of what would be payable under the capital value system. Public are requested to check their property tax. Every property owner is advised to verify the capital value of the property, the tax calculated on capital value for each year, the previous year's property tax, the percentage of limitation and increase applied by Gvmc, the year in which the transitional tax reached the capital value tax, and whether Gvmc has continued adding 2% every subsequent year even after Rule 9.3 became applicable. If you find that 2% is being continued after the transition has ended, you should question the assessment. Property owners may submit a written objection or a representation to the concerned Gvmc authority and request year-wise calculation of capital value tax, identification of the year in which Rule 9.3 became applicable, recalculation of tax thereafter strictly on the capital value of each year, and adjustment or refund of any excess amount collected subject to the applicable law and procedure. Public awareness is important. This is not a request to avoid payment of legitimate property tax. It is a request that property tax should be assessed strictly according to the rules and that taxpayers should not be subjected to a perpetual transitional increase after the transition to the capital value system has been completed. Every taxpayer has the right to know how his or her property tax has been calculated. Please check your Gvmc property tax statement. If the capital value tax has already been reached and Gvmc is still adding 2% to the previous year's tax every year, seek clarification and contest the assessment if appropriate. Know your tax. Check your calculation. Question any excess levy. Public awareness initiative on property tax under the capital value system. If you are also one of the victims of the excess property tax explained as above, please write your comments in the relevant column below this video and your mobile number, etc. Please circulate widely for the benefit of all concerned. K.S.D.D. Raju, mobile number 9660505555.